Is Assassin's Creed back? Kind of? Welcome to Checkpoint Radio Episode 1. My name is Sam Whalen. So happy that you could join us today. Like I hinted there, we're going to talk about Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag Resynced. It's a very long title, but I'm having a good time with this game. We're going to cover that today. Also, hey, welcome to Checkpoint Radio. Let's slow things down a bit. There's no reason to rush, okay? We're not going anywhere. My name's Sam Whalen. You might have heard of me from another show called No Credits Rolled. Used to host that. Didn't do a video because I was afraid, but don't worry, folks. I have internalized that self-consciousness into this program, and so it will probably bleed through a lot. But now you can see me on video. You can hear me on audio. You can check me out wherever you get your podcast. We'll be there for you. And here on Checkpoint Radio, we talk about all kinds of stuff, mostly video games. Maybe some other stuff, maybe whatever I see in the room around me. Maybe I'll just grab an item and talk about that. Not today, though, because today we're going to get down to business. Today we're talking Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag Resynced. I'm going to get my money's worth out of that title. And we're going to roll the intro in just a second. We're going to take a quick little pause here. Then we're going to come back. I'm going to be suited up in my props. Because of course I got props, because if we're doing video, we got to make it count, folks. And so I'm going to have some props. I already have my pirate t-shirt on, as you can see here. It's very ill-fitting. I know, you don't have to tell me. However, I broke this out of the closet just for this episode, just for you at home. So let's take a quick break. We'll be right back, and I'll dive into my thoughts about Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag Resynced. Welcome back, everybody, to Checkpoint Radio Episode 1. Once again, if you missed it, my name is Sam Whalen. Today we're talking Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag Resynced. Check it out. I broke into the props department here at the radio station. We got our friend Polly the Parrot here. I have to be very delicate with him because he's kind of just balanced on the mic. But he's going to hang out with us. Oh, a little bit of a side profile for Polly there. Hang on. Hold up. Whatever. You get the idea. There he is. I also have this cool hat that doesn't really want to stay on, but we're going to see how far we get with it. And also Polly doesn't want to stay on. There we go. I have this cool sword that I'm only going to show a little bit in case it gets censored. Also, if you're just an audio listener, I want you to imagine essentially Jack Sparrow, but in a less optimal form, okay? We've got the pirate hat, which again, is right here. Over the headphones, by the way, mind you. I was pretty proud of that. The sword, again, which is going to go on back off display here because I don't want to get censored or, scare the kids at home. This is a semi-family-friendly show. Not really, because I'll probably curse every once in a while, but that's okay. Here on the Checkpoint Radio, you got to get a little loosey-goosey with it sometimes. So anyway, get one last look at this sword. This is foam, by the way, okay, folks? It's just a prop. No need to be afraid. And then we're just going to put that down there. And we're going to get started. We're talking Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag Resynced, of course, the latest and greatest from Ubisoft. This hat is start taking bets on when this hat's going to fall off. I actually recently went back and played the original Black Flag just for fun. It's one of my favorite Assassin's Creed games. And so the original was sort of fresh in my mind going into this remake. And so I wondered how crooked can this hat get? I wondered what the remake was going to be like. I didn't read a whole lot going into it. Of course, this is one we've been waiting for a long time. Kind of the ones the fans have always wanted to kind of return to, one of the greatest ACs of all time. And it is the same but different. They've changed up the combat quite a bit, which I'll spend some time on in a second. And they've updated the parkour. The parkour is a lot nicer as well. Combat, like I said, there's still ship combat. The story is largely the same. There's some stuff added. Oh, and by the way, I should have led with this disclaimer. This is a preview, right, if you want to call it that. We're not super far into this game. We're only about, 5 to 10 hours. But I wanted to hop on the mic here and give my thoughts because I've just been such an eager beaver at home, folks, and I just had to get this out. So we're going to talk about what we know so far, and if I'm wrong about stuff, or if there's stuff we don't know yet, or we haven't encountered, well, that's just how it's going to be. And, maybe we'll come back to it later, who knows. But that's the beauty of this show. See, my old show, No Credits Rolled, the whole point of the show is that I didn't finish games before I talked about them. But I thought that was a little, I thought that didn't really work. You know, like why, who cares? First off, who cares about my opinion to begin with? But second off, who would care if I didn't even finish the games I was talking about? So now I have a loophole where it's okay that I don't do that. We do previews, we do props. We'll have cool stuff in the background here. I forgot to mention that we have a green screen now, so I'm hoping we'll get some gameplay footage up here, maybe some other cool stuff. I have this cool dragon graphic that I've been wanting to use, so maybe I'll throw that in there. Anyway, let's see my notes here. Do you like the hat? Is the hat working? I feel like the hat's working. I don't know. It won't be a staple, folks. Don't get your hopes up every time, okay? Because, you know, I can't be doing... I don't have this level of prop for every game we're going to talk about. So anyway, let's get into it. Enough wasting your time and mind. I want to get right into the combat here. So going into this, I was not sure what they were going to do. I know they had mentioned some changes, but I wasn't sure the extent of those changes. And it turns out basically what we get is the modern AC games, so like Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, and Shadows, that sort of shell or engine or like way to run a game, whatever you want to call it, now with Assassin's Creed 4 put into that and spit out. And that sounds, the way I'm phrasing that, it sounds kind of bad, but it's not that bad. You're right, like a lot of it was so they could fix that combat of just you parry the first guy in the original game. You know, you fight like 10 dudes, you parry the first guy, you get your takedown, and then you just chain that takedown and you're taking out like 30 guys at once. And that, you know, people didn't find that fun. Personally, I found that fun. But maybe my bar is just super low. But in this game, instead, it's more of a traditional modern AC combat where you've got your stagger bar and your health bar, and you're trying to parry with highlighted attacks to then break the stagger bar and then go in for the takedown once you get it down all the way. But there's a lot more like hacking and slashing, I think, than there was in the original, because you're not just immediately going right for the takedowns. You do have to whittle these guys down a little bit. And but there are some big improvements, I think. Like they give you the radial wheels that you have in the in like games like Valhalla and Odyssey, where you've got abilities that you can map. To my knowledge, you can't change those abilities just yet, but you unlock all 4 pretty soon. So there's the gun, which you always have. There's like a scorpion style whip that is on your circle button, and then there's your kick. You have a kick just to kick somebody over, and then a sweep kick so you can sweep the leg and go in for a takedown that way. So those, I think, allow you to make combat a little bit more dynamic. And also, by the way, first time working under lights here. Whoo boy. All right, it's like we're out here on the 7 seas with how hot it's getting down here. So don't mind me. I'm just getting really immersed in the role. But yeah, so it allows you to kind of move things around in combat, so you can like kick a guy into a wall or kick a guy into some debris and break his stagger bar that way, or if they're blocking, you can sweep their leg and then go for a takedown that way. You know, I've found the most fun with the rope dart so far, because you can, just like in the old games, you can pull people towards you, except now it's not a limited resource, you can just do it on cooldown. So that's pretty fun. You can kind of feel like Scorpion sometimes, and there are a lot of bugs in this game. But that can make it kind of fun, especially in combat. Like if you pull a guy into a debris and like he staggers and like is stumbling towards something, he just kind of taps it and just falls over. That's not a bug, but that's just a funny example of combat. There are straight up bugs. Like, you know, I've had it crash a couple times on me, which is always super fun. There've been a couple times where I've just gotten stuck, and luckily there's like a fixed stuck thing that just goes into the game immediately. Nothing that like takes me out of it, and I have a pretty high tolerance for bugs. Like, I feel like I don't encounter them that often to the point where they're game breaking. You kind of just learn to live with them. And that's kind of what I've done so far. I will say, and this is a problem I had with the James Bond game also, the facial hair looks super bad. I don't know if it's just my console. I feel like my console just cannot render facial hair the way that I want. It's like super patchy, kind of like my beard. But even worse, if you can imagine that. It's like, it's not fully filled in. It doesn't look good. And I had the same problem in James Bond First Light. Which I should do an episode on as well. But anyway, yeah, so the combat is different. It is definitely updated. I'm playing on the hardest difficulty, and it's not really that hard. I mean, you can... Oh, there's also a dodge. You can, like, perfect dodge and stuff, which, if you're into that. I will say it's a little immersion breaking if you care about that. Like, fighting animals and stuff. Like, I fought an alligator, and the alligator... Like, right off the bat, I'll go back to another example. You have to fight ocelots to get skins. It's like part of the tutorial of the game, and you're like parrying the ocelots as if you're in like a Elden Ring fight with them, which was strange. Um, and then yeah, later on you fight an alligator and you can like sideways dodge in like chest deep water. So, whatever. It's an Assassin's Creed game. It's not real life. You're in a machine that lets you inhabit, the mind of a pirate or whatever. So you kind of, it doesn't bother me, is what I'm getting at. So yeah, that's the combat. So far, the story is still pretty good. I think they've updated some stuff. They've added these like dark animus missions, which are kind of interesting. I only got to one of those so far. But that kind of gives you like maybe what we're hinting towards the larger story of Assassin's Creed. I didn't finish Shadows, by the way, so I don't know where that goes. And quite honestly, the whole narrative kind of lost me a long time ago. I play the games just to play them and to have fun. I don't really get too deep into them anymore. But yeah, we're gonna see where these Dark Animus missions go. Not really sure what the deal is with that. They are interesting. I'm assuming it's going to tie into Juno or something like that, or some deeper lore. We'll have to wait and see. In terms of the music, everything is pretty similar. There are like one thing I noticed where you get into melee combat, which by the way, I forgot to mention this, backtracking even more. In the original game, you could like select what kind of weapon you want to use, whether you want to use your hidden blade, your sword, your fist at any given moment. And now, to my knowledge, you can't really do that. You're just always using your swords, and then more contextual things, you'll use your fist, like if it's a fist only fight like in a tavern, which are these side events, or if it's assassinating somebody, you'll use the blades. But you can't just whip out the hidden blades and just go to town on like 50 dudes like you used to be able to do, which might bother some people. Kind of bothers me a little bit. And I wish you had the option, but I see what they're going for. They want it to be more streamlined to fit with these more modern AC games, which is the push they've been doing for years, so that's not super surprising. Anyway, on to the music and stuff. Oh, that was what I wanted to get to for that, because with the music, there is, in fistfights, there's like cymbal crashes for when you do takedowns, which is something. I don't really know what they were going for there, but it made me laugh. That was pretty funny. The voice acting I believe it is the same lines, but there's got to be some stuff added because there is some new content. I don't know. I didn't do a whole lot of research for this episode, by the way, so you're going to have to just take my word for it. But yeah, I think Edward is still a great protagonist. He's just a funny guy. He's not like a good person from the very beginning. Like you give the backstory of him with his Caroline, who's like his wife or something, and then he just leaves and pieces out. But like he still is like a bad dude. Like he's in it just for the money, very clearly. And about where I'm at now is he's kind of getting more into the assassin side of things and developing that moral compass. But he is an interesting character, and it's kind of nice to have an AC character who's not just like purely good from the very beginning and like has to grow and not be kind of evil. What else have we got? Yeah, so like I said at the top, folks, same but different. I would highly recommend picking this up if you're a fan of the original, or if you never played the original. One of the things I kind of took away while I was playing it, and don't mind me while I get a sip of my beverage, one of my biggest takeaways was I want them to now just take 1, 2, and 3 and all those other games and just put them into this engine and then just spit them out again, like we kind of did with this, where it's updated for modern times. They've updated a lot of the gameplay stuff to make them feel more modern. I don't know how Assassin's Creed fans would react to that. I feel like it would do well, because like they tried to give us the blending of like traditional stealth AC gameplay with the more combat-focused stuff of the more modern action RPG AC games. From what I played of Shadows, which is not a whole lot, it really seemed like they didn't fully commit to that in terms of like being Yasuke and Naoe, the two characters from that game. It felt like you kind of just had to play as Naoe to get the full experience of the game because of the mobility restrictions with not being able to climb as high and stuff like that. But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about that. But what the point of that is that the people want that old stealth gameplay back. Some of them. Personally, I could take it or leave it. But if you do that if you take the original AC 1 and 2 and put them back into this more modern engine, I'm curious how well that would do and how people would react to that. I mean, I know those games are so beloved. They're beloved to me for different reasons, just because they're iconic. I don't really, I wouldn't go to die on a hill for them necessarily. I've just been playing them my whole life, so it's kind of just one of those things where they have a special place in my heart, but they're not on the likes of, or the levels of like a Halo or something like that, where it's like a ride or die. Oh no, Polly! Polly has fallen. If you're listening, audio wise, I apologize. I apologize. Here, let's see if we can fix him. There we go. There he goes. He's fine. Whew, Lord have mercy. Hey, this is pretty effective. Probably doesn't sound good for the mic though. But anyway, yeah. So that's my biggest takeaway for AC Black Flag. Well, I have a lot of big takeaways, but one of my takeaways would be to just remake all these games now in this engine. Am I supposed to wear it like this? See, maybe I shouldn't have props. I get distracted very easily. Maybe I shouldn't. There we go. But yeah, end of the day, I would recommend this one. Pick it up if you can get it. If you want to get it now, feel free, but you wouldn't hurt to wait on a sale either. But there's kind of a dry period for me personally in terms of releases. Nothing's really out that I haven't already finished. So yeah, highly recommend it. And that's pretty much all I got. I thought I would have something profound at the end here, but I don't. So we'll just move into our quick hits real quick. Do we ditch the props for the quick hits? I mean, I still got the shirt on. Whatever. We'll just put the hat down over here and fix the hair real quick. Gee whiz, guys. Am I right? Anyway, so first quick hit here. And again, these are all games that I've got a handful of hours into fully completed them. Kind of everything in between. The idea of this, I used to call it the gaming grab bag. Patent still pending on that one. So we're just going to call it quick hits for this first episode. But yeah, these are just games I want to do a couple minutes on each, to games that I would recommend and games I want to get my opinion out on. And the first one of those is, of course, Forza Horizon 6. Big new release from Xbox, which, by the way, speaking of Xbox, and I know we take a lot of left turns on this show, but it is what it is. I used to do a news segment on my former No Credits Rolled show, and I kind of just don't want to do news unless I really have to, because it bums me out. Is that wrong? I don't think so. But I'm not going to do it because I don't want to talk about it. But Xbox did have a lot of layoffs lately. You can look into that. The whole industry is just on fire. But like, what isn't? You know what I mean? It's just the world we live in. Isn't that right, Polly? Anyway, back to the video games. Okay, back to the fun stuff that isn't depressing. Forza Horizon 6 finally is out as of like 3 months ago now. I'm a little late to the ball game here. But we finally get the Japanese setting we've been waiting for. A lot of Horizon fans have been clamoring for that. Personally, I'm a late bloomer to the Horizon franchise. I think I dropped in with a 4. But these are my favorite racing games. They're the most arcadey. They're the ones I have the most fun in and don't just constantly crash 24/7. So that's pretty nice. And I was very excited for this game with all they showed with the different trailers at the different showcases leading up to it. I was really looking forward to what we were going to get with this one, and it did not disappoint. I definitely think this is my favorite Horizon so far. I probably got like 20 to 30 hours in it so far. I've gotten the first like 2 like wristbands done, which are the first 2 like big benchmarks. I did the Gundam race. It was very cool. Lived up to the hype, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the quick rundown there of Horizon 6. If you have a Games Pass subscription, definitely pick it up and check it out. Moving on to our next quick hit here. This is an even quicker hit. This is Saros, I believe is how you say it. The new Housemarque game. The folks who, of course, brought us Returnal. Wasn't the biggest Returnal fan. Kind of fell off it pretty quickly. Saw the trial for Saros go up on the PlayStation Store there and decided to check it out. So that's 2 hours of gameplay. I'm like an hour and change in, and I'm really having a good time. I mean, I'm super biased because Rahul Cooley is the lead, and I love him. If you haven't seen Midnight Mass, go check that out. And he was in a bunch of other stuff too. I know him from just content creation. He's just seems like a super likable, funny guy. And so he's the lead of this, and he's great. I mean, as you would expect from, he's a famous actor, so he's going to bring it, and he does. And I also like this setting a lot more. It's on this Carcosa, which is like, if you ever saw that first season of True Detective, the Yellow King and Carcosa, and kind of deals with that eldritch, otherworldly, we're all going to peer into the void and go crazy kind of horror, which I like. That's always fun. So we do get a lot of that here with people just looking into the sun and going cray-cray. The gameplay is pretty much the same as Returnal, where it's like bullet hell, third-person action, jumping around, dashing, lots of stuff happening all at once. So far, I'm liking it because there's less stuff happening all at once, and I feel like there's more contrast in the environment to kind of make it easier to follow. Again, as you'll come to know on this show, I have, mashed potato brains, as I like to call it. And, so in Returnal, it was a dark environment, a dark kind of blue-black environment, at least in the parts that I were at. And then the projectiles themselves were also blue, so stuff will kind of just blend together. And when there's so much shit flying at you all the time, it can get visually confusing. And I think this game it's got a different color palette. It's more reds and oranges, but there's still, the projectiles are like blue, yellow, and red. So I think it just makes for more contrast. It makes it a lot easier to follow what's happening. That is likely to change as more enemies are introduced and, you're fighting, I guess, small armies at a time. But for about the hour and change that I'm in so far, I'm really enjoying it. But anyway, that's going to wrap what we have here on Checkpoint Radio. Did you have fun? I had fun. Look, we still got props here. I think you guys want more props and more episodes, let me know. We'll make sure we don't burn down the studio in the meantime. Turns out this hat was holding in a lot of heat. Okay, so now I have the hat off, I feel better. So maybe we'll go hatless next time. We'll see what other stuff we got around the station here to play with. We have an SK Plus just off camera. That's a tease for next time. Maybe we'll show him off next time. But yeah, my name's Sam Whalen. This has been Checkpoint Radio Episode 1. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching if you've made it this far. And we'll see you next time on the next broadcast.